Welcome back to a very basic space program. You find us in orbit. Annalise Mayer is in orbit finally, and in this episode I think we're going to need a bigger rocket. So please join me. We are in orbit with Annalise. She is going to complete this Orbital Flight 1 crew mission, which takes about 9 hours. She's been up there for about 30 minutes now. She's enjoying it. She did not enjoy the launch, let me just say that. She was very stressed, obviously, after the last one. She had a bit of a moment, shall we say, in the return last time. So we've sent her up again because I think she deserves to get to get onto orbit. So we're not attempting to do a rendezvous with this craft. I have decided that way leads to madness. While it is possible, and particularly with the target that we have, it would be possible to actually do that rendezvous. I do think that, you know what, maybe we need to build something a bit more able, a bit more capable. Add to that the fact that we have other missions that are going to need bigger rockets. So I thought, you know what, we've got a 150-ton pad. We've actually got a 300-ton pad that I haven't used yet, but we've got a 150-ton pad that we still haven't used fully. So I think we're going to build a bigger rocket in this episode. In fact, we might build 2 bigger rockets, but we'll see how the first one goes. So I'm going to get this 9 hours or 8.5 hours out of the way, and I will see you as we come back into the atmosphere for Annalise's return, and then we'll get on with the rest of the episode. Right, Annalise has finished her time in orbit. We're just going to reorientate the craft, and then we're going to use the RCS to pull us back down out of the atmosphere, well, out of the atmosphere, into the atmosphere, hopefully. We have completed what required. These one crew member missions actually seem quite easy because I was assuming you needed a high sort of apoaps, low periaps, but actually it just has to be within a range. And I think the 2 crew and maneuvers ones are much more challenging. So we're just going to fire our RCS off, and that's going to drop our periaps down into the atmosphere. We can actually speed that up a bit. So we need to build a launch craft that is capable of putting more into orbit, because we know we can basically just about squeeze geostationary craft out of this thing, but it's not pretty. We also know we can put crew into orbit, but we don't have much maneuverability with them. So the next question is, well, how much do we want to put up? Well, in an ideal world, I'd be looking at maybe 3 tons, because that gives us sort of Gemini equivalent. But we have a 150-ton pad, so I am going to build to the 150-ton pad. And then I think I'm going to build to the 300-ton pad as well, and we'll see what we come up with. But we'll look at the 150-ton first of all, because we know this craft, although we're using the 150-ton pad with it, it's actually a 60-ton rocket that we stuck some solid boosters on to speed up a bit at the start of it and make it more effective. So we'll probably use that same philosophy. So we will be building, I think, is it the Javelin 4? That's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at build the Javelin 4. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, we're out of RCS. Now, that is interesting. And do I have RCS in this? That's a question. Yes, we do. We have HTP. Okay. So I think we can probably decouple now, can't we? Yeah, let's just decouple that. There we go. And now it is time for re-entry. So let me just speedy on down. Come on, there we go. We're going to speedy on down. I'm not going to show you all of re-entry, but we'll see her enter into the atmosphere, make sure she stabilizes, everything like that. Please comment down below what you think about the series, what you want to see next, how would you like it presented, things like that. It's always good to hear your feedback on what's going on, really. There have been a number of updates to RP-1, Realism Overhaul, things like that. The major one, which I have not updated this actual playthrough to yet, is changes to research time. And those changes actually make it more of a, if you're ahead of time, it slows down, or it makes it harder to do research. So it stops you specializing in a particular branch, which for this series isn't a major one, but I think for speedrunners it may have an impact. Although I tend to find that I think speedrunning you need to be reasonably balanced, so at least in the early game, so we will see. So we're going to bring this back down out of orbit. It'd be really nice if it sorted itself out. I suppose I should stage the RCS, and there we go. Just rotate the craft right now. I don't want to go that way. There we go. There we go. Now, of course, Annalise is not a pilot, although interestingly, she has prograde retrograde skill. Now that is interesting. I was not expecting that. Why are we coming down as why are we coming down at a funny angle? Now that is interesting. Turn that off. Why are we coming down at that funny looking angle? I want to... No, I want to go the other way. What? Why are we... Oh, because we're not. Because I'm doing that. I'm facing the wrong way. So what's happening here? Have we got a little bug or something going on? Off center of mass is really weird. What's going on? Yeah, we definitely are not pointing in the direction I thought we would be. That is interesting. Now, somebody said you can turn on the RCS up here. Oh, let's have a look. Does that help? Oh, it does. Oh, so note to self, you can turn on the RCS at the top here. That is interesting. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is she is an engineer, so she's not a pilot. So we're getting control from, obviously, this pod actually has RCS built into it of some sort. We'll do that. Now it seems to have aligned itself. Now it seems to have just been, I think we were just ahead of our time itself with that. We're going to put ourselves on the retrograde. There we go. Now we could use a little bit of lifting body as we come down because of this, but I think we're just going to rush it down. So I will put this down. If anything major happens, I'll jump back in, but otherwise I will see you back at the Space Center. Right, I'm actually going to jump back as we come into re-entry because I wanted to actually talk a little bit about just the G-forces that Anne's actually experiencing. So we're coming in on a non-lifting body re-entry, we're coming ballistic, but interestingly, it's actually a lot less G than the abort from suborbit we had in the last episode. So you can actually see Annalise is, you know, she's nowhere near blacking out right now. It's high, she feels it, she definitely feels it, but it's nowhere near as high. So it just shows you can see there her gauge is just climbing a little bit on G-force, but it's nowhere near what it was, which is actually staggering. One of the reasons that we actually didn't go for a rendezvous with this craft, despite the fact that it could potentially do, it's got the maneuverability. This mission, as you know from the last episode, I had to rush build this craft and we had about 4 days. Now, I couldn't guarantee a close sort of encounter within 4 days, and I needed to ensure that we didn't fail this mission, basically. So that's the choice that I made. If you were doing it, you might have decided to cancel the orbital flight just straight away, taken another one to give yourself some more time and to pay off the cash that it was going to cost you, and then gone for the first rendezvous anyway. So that would be the option. I have decided, however, just to complete the mission. So I will see you back at the center. Alright, and we are back, and you can see we've got absolutely, oh no, we got a little bit of crew report for flying high over a desert and a savannah on our re-entry. So that's a little bit more science, but not a lot, not a vital amount. Nothing for bringing the craft back from orbit because we've done that so many times now. We get a little bit of cash for bits of the craft, and Annalise goes up to level 1, which is wonderful. It's always nice to have our astronauts trained up a little bit. So let's have a look. You can see on the left here, I think it was actually on the last screen, I have Kerbal alarm clock up, and you will notice, yes, I do have markers enabled for Venus and Mars windows. I don't think we're going to make it for those because we have other things to go first, but you can see my mind is looking at that. This first rendezvous is the important one. That's the one we're going to be looking at. We also have these atmospheric and sat navigation satellites to actually put together, so I will probably put something together for that off camera and show bits of that as we go along. Because we have 2 lanes in our VAB now, I am making sure that we have 2 things on. So actually I need to rename this. We need to rename you because you are not number 5, you are number 6, you're number 7. So Icarus 7 is Javelin. So these, I just thought to myself, you know what, we have ability in the build queue to be doing these. Even if I scrap them, that's not a big issue. We can always pick up, thank you very much, Jane. We can always pick up some of these, crewed orbit 1 flight sort of missions. They'll just bring a bit of cash in there. They bring us about 100,000, so it's, you know, it's something we can just do until we get to the 2-man capsule, and it's something we can do in the background just to keep our astronauts busy. We might even have a look at some other astronauts. That basically pays for an astronaut or 2. Ooh, what have we got? Courage and stupidity scientist. Well, we've already got a stupidly high courage and stupidity, although that one's smarter. Ooh. And why are we getting all these really courageous, totally stupid scientists? I mean, you're not too bad. You've got no courage. Pilots without courage just don't do me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. You, Vera Becker, that's sort of more like it. High courage and high stupidity, that's quite a pilot-y thing. All right, I think we're going to keep this team at the moment, though, the 4. Interestingly, all female. Interesting. Have we actually sent a man into space yet? I don't think we have. All right, let's go have a look at uprating our craft a little bit. We want to put something bigger in, and what I'm actually thinking is for this rendezvous we're going to put maybe a service module on the bottom of the Icarus and adapt it, and then use a bigger launch vehicle. We can test a bigger launch vehicle with that. So let's go and have a look in the VAB at what we can do. Right, this is our Icarus craft, and we're just going to call it Icarus version 1. You can hear me typing there. This is Icarus version 1. Now I had some complaints because we do not have the escape thing on the top. So do I have? Where's my safety? Where's my launch escape system? Where is that? Oh, there we are. There's a Mercury launch escape system. Tell you what, give me that. It cost me nothing. Wonderful. How does that work? Let's see. We pop that on there, do we? Okay. And that now has. That's a solid. How do I decouple that? How does that decouple? Does that have a decoupler? Can I change color? Ooh, that's not it. That's what do I want? Anyway, right, launch escape system. Crossfeed. Well, where's the decoupler? That's interesting. Maybe I'm blind. Oh, decouple, disable stage fairing. Oh, that's interesting. I don't like it. We're getting rid of it. I like being able to detach my launch escape. Oh, now what is this? Is this another one? Whoa, that's another bit that goes. So that's. Are these? So is the idea that you actually attach it, because that looks as though it fits perfectly over the top of there. Let's be entirely honest, that's not the right one. That fits perfectly over the top of there, but I do not see how I decouple it afterwards. Where is the? Do you just carry it back into the atmosphere? That seems excessive to me. That's interesting. So where is the decoupler? It's not showing up. Maybe that's a bug. Right. But we're not going to use that anyway. What I'm going to look at is we're going to put a service module on the bottom of this. So this currently weighs in at about a ton. This craft has avionics for, let's just check this, avionics for 1.5. So we can put half a ton of service module on the bottom of this. So what do we want to do? Well, first of all, we want to put a decoupler on there. Where are we? Get a hollow decoupler, and we're going to make this a nice and big-ish. 1.8, yeah, there we go. And then we'll do that. There we go. Right, that's going to sit on the bottom. That's actually probably our original redstone version type thing. We did that in red, didn't we? You know what? Let's just do that in red. No, I don't want black. Give me bright red. Whoa, that's red. Okay, yeah, that is very red. That is, in fact, you know what, can I just do that? Just do that and then just give me, that's better. That's much nicer. It's not as offensive to the eyes. All right. Very metallic, isn't it? All right. So that's our decoupler. So next we're going to need, we need a little tank. And what I want to use is, we have not used them yet. We haven't really used our little 1 kilonewton sort of thrusters. So we've got these little ones. These Mercury propulsion. Now we could just use the posigrade motors and things like that. I don't really want to use those. We're going to use the 1K thrusters. Oh, but we've got nice. Oh, there's lots of different versions of them now, isn't there? Oh, I like this. I'm having this one. This is nice. I like this one. Yeah, we'll have some of those. Right, we'll have a couple of those, and that will mean that we'll need a tank for the fuel. So we're going to take. Let's have a look. Now we know we can orientate with this now, don't we? But I'm going to. Do we risk it for a biscuit? We'll go integral, and we're going to go for high pressure. We're going to go for a fillet cylinder. Where are you? There you are. And that's going to be the same as this. So this is 1.9. We're actually going to make it 1.9. There we go. In actual fact, how heavy is that going to make this? When we put this on here, right, let's put this on here. I want this to be HTP. There we go, maxed out. Now what, this is gonna really overdo it. Ooh, now, which is the correct one? Oh, this is a problem. You know what, go for the one that has more. Let's have a look. Work it out. Can't do it off the top of my head. So there's an easy way to do it. What's this one? 4.7. So the RCS system is 4.7. So we're going to go for that one there. Okay, that's better. Right. 1 hour. I don't need that much, and I don't need 3 tons. So let's definitely don't need that much delta V. Alright, we're going to make this smaller and smaller. Let's take it down to 25 minutes is a long, but you know what? I'm going to put multiple engines on anyway, aren't I? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put like, I don't know, 4 engines. Put 4 engines on. That's always the best way. 4 little engines on. Of course, we'll change the fuel type of this when we get better fuel, because HTP is pretty rubbish, to be honest with you, at this point. Obviously, we want to change the bottom of that from that. Well, in fact, we'll leave that as it is. Right, I think we're going to actually make this smaller. Yeah, I think we're going to bring this in and just do that. That's nice-ish. What I would really like to do with this is build sort of a skirt onto it, like a solid piece, and then have this underneath it. But that takes a lot of mass up. Now, I don't really mind the mass for this. I don't mind us going up to about 3 tons, actually. So maybe I do that. Maybe we just... Let's do that. Let's make it look better than it probably needs to. Primarily because I'm going to have to live with this for a while. So yeah, I could go with one of those ribbed payload adapters. Oh no, actually I don't want the payload. I want the interstage. I've just paid for it. So we want to bring that to. Let's see. The base size is going to be 2 meters, I think. Let's make it 2 meters. And then the top is going to be, what did we say that, about 1.6 something? What is this? This is, I've changed it. Let's get rid of that actually for now. So we've got this. This is going to, let's see, reduce the height all the way down. There we go. And I actually want to change it to be, yeah, nice and solid. Yeah. And then you get this glitch that occurs, which I always think is quite amusing. Do that to there. Right. So, no, I don't like that one, actually. So let's go with proc fairing base. No. The choice is interstage ring. Let's choose the interstage, hollow interstage ring. Yeah, let's try that. Right. So we want the top to be about, what is it, 190, something like that. We want the height to be a lot less than that. We're going to bring it right down. And what we'll do is we'll put all of our stuff inside this ring. The base, I want to bring down to 2. Yeah, there we go. Right, and then I want side bits. There we go. Give me, actually, you know what? Give me one of those. One of those. There we go. All right, and now we can just pull this up, actually. So height, and then go again, and again, and again. There we go. Right, and we're going to go extra height now, and we're going to just slide that up there. There we are. And I want to change the actual shape of this fairing. So I want to change it to, yeah, that's nice. That's a conic egg, I believe. Quite nice. And we'll take that off because I actually only want one of them. We only want one node. There we go. Put it on the side. There we are. Done. So we've got that there. That does not want to decouple, actually. So where's my button for that? Disable decoupling. Density can be as light as possible. There we are. So that's going to be the start of our little additional section. And then we're going to take these off for a minute. And then we're going to make this into... now. This has got control for 1.5 tons, so we need to put a control port module on the top there, otherwise I can't control it. So let's get that as well while we're at it. So we need one of you. There we go. Nope, not like that. Here, please. Thank you. Don't want you coupling to the bottom of there. We're going to make you 2 meters. Yeah, we'll make you 2 meters. Right, and we want you to basically hold a mass of 3. And I want to put, 1,000 in. Apply that. What does that give us for time? So it gives us 22 hours. I take that off, it's 1 day 3. And we've just put it in the wrong place. So let's put it back on, thank you. We're going to make that more like 10,000. Apply that. 1 day 2. That's better. Get rid of that extra storage space. We could actually use that for putting HTTP in, but we're not going to. Right. And then we're going to change the colors of this, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Now, There we're going to go. Right, we're going to stick 4 of you on. Or we could do 2. Or we could do 3. Let's do 3. Let's do 3 near the center. And what I'm going to do is cheeky. I'm going to recess them. I'm going to recess them just a smidgen. There we go. And they've now come really close to the center of each other. That's fine. All right, and then we're going to take this and we're going to attach it there. And I don't want you like that anymore. I want you to be... oh, that's interesting. Are you not able to feed through though? Let's just check. Are you set to... You're set to HTTP. There's that. Because you gotta have those going first. Okay. Right, that's a lot of fuel on there, and it's also a lot of mass. So we need to change this. So we're going to fill it cylinder. We're going to drop these down to, oh, I don't know, 500, 500. That gives me 200. And that's not much. Let's go 600. You get exponential growth now. Let's go. There we go. That's a lot of stuff. That's 2 tons. Okay, that's 2 tons for a bit of time. There we go. I'm happy with that. So then we're going to put them there like so, and then because I am being cheeky, I'm going to recess these as well, because I can. Right, there we go. We're just going to plop them in like so, and then slide them with a bit of this. Give me local. No, I want to go. Okay, we're just going to leave them where they are. Yeah, I think we're just... Oh no, we can move this one. Let's move this one in and slide that in a bit there. There we go. Okay, so that's that done. So now we have power for a day and 2 hours. That's good. We've got 5 days worth of stress requirements. We've got control. We've got forward thrust, all that sort of stuff. We probably want to have some sort of orientation control. Now we do have these jets on the top. And I think that will be fine, but we've got roll control with this. We have up, down, left, right with that. So I think we're okay with this. So this is going to be Icarus version 3. Okay, version 2, sorry. Icarus version 2. And I think that's ready, but we're going to have to think about, you know what, we're going to put, I don't normally do this, but I am aware of the fact that we have an annoyance potentially with this going onto a craft. So we're going to pop this into there. There we go. We're going to make ourselves a stage that will decouple. So we're going to do that and do that, and that's going to be bigger than that. And then we're going to pull this down. So this is just to basically help us in our decoupling process and keep it sort of tidy. There we go. That's better. And then we'll colour this. So what I will do is I will colour this up and I will bring you back to see the craft we're going to put it on. Welcome back. You can see I have now placed upon the top of a new rocket our Icarus version 2, and the rocket underneath it is the Javelin 4. The Javelin 4 has 2 engines on this stage. They're RD-109s, and then below that, all the way down the bottom here, we have 2 LR-79s, and they're arranged in what I like to call the blue streak formation, which means they've got their little out exhaust pipes facing the same direction. I think it just looks cool. So we also have our boosters around the side there. We've actually underfueled one of them. This one here in the middle of both sort of sets of 3 is actually underfueled because it'll give it a really strong bunch off the line, as it were, for 4 seconds. Then we get rid of it. And then we go on to the rest of them, which are all running at the start, by the way. So this should be good. I think this craft should give us about up to sort of 4 tons maybe in orbit without many upgrades. It should be capable. So we can see now it fits at just under 150 tons. It's got plenty of delta V to spare. We don't actually need those first sets on there, so I might actually take them off for this launch. In fact, you know what? We're going to take them off for this launch. That's better. We'll get rid of them for this launch. We don't actually need them. So I'm going to tool this. You can see it's supposedly going to take a long time, but I don't think it's going to be that long. What I do need to do is actually take one of these clamps, and I need to put it on the other side because, you know what? It needs a bit of stability on the other side of the craft. I should actually have some hold down clamps, but we're not doing that. And I'm not using modular launch pads or anything like that. So there we go. So there we are. ready, sorted. That will need to decouple at the same time as those. Right. So we'll just label this up. This is going to be the Icarus, I don't know, Icarus, we'll call it Icarus 8. Icarus 8. So that's V5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to put Javelin 4A. Because this is the 4A. And not Lavalin, Javelin. There we go. Right, so we're going to save that. So let's have a look at the tooling on this. So, close that, thank you. Tooling situation, save it. We are looking at tooling costing us, well, let's actually press it and see. It's going to take down to 99 days to build, which is actually really nice. It's actually a really nice build time. Tooling it is going to cost us 150,000. And that's not including the engine costs. So let's purchase those. Oh, that's painful. Yeah. And then the engine costs. So we're gonna go to build, and again, it contains the following parts. We've got these two parts, so we need to, if you ever do that, you see this little button here, show experimental parts, click that, and then try it again, and it'll tell you what you need to buy. If you can't buy them, it'll actually highlight them. It means you haven't researched them. If they're on here but you haven't researched them, that's what it'll do. So we've got that 135,000. That's a lot. Oh, that's basically eaten most of the money that we would have got for that rendezvous. In fact, I think it's cost more than that, but we need to keep moving forward and expanding. So there we go. That is ready. Let's just check, is it in the build queue? It is. And you know what? We're going to put another one in, which may seem a bit weird, but they're only 8,000. We can start building them. We can knock them out. So we're going to put another one in. There we go. Because this thing's got maneuverability that we don't normally have. Right. I think we're ready. So let's go and advance time and launch this thing for rendezvous. Right. It is the 25th of the 5th, 1963. And we're actually going to launch Icarus 8 before we launch Icarus 6 and 7. But that's the way we've named them, so that's the way they're going to stay. So 150 ton pad, we're going to launch it. We're going to choose our pilot, and I think we're going to send up Kreshnova. I could send up Helena, but I want someone with a bit of experience. Helena can do a one crew orbit thing for just 9 hours or whatever to get her first wings. But Kreshnova, you're going up on this one. Right, so we are ready for launch, and I'm actually in the sort of map view window, so I'm looking at where we're launching and things like that. We are, about 30, 34, 35 degrees, no, maybe 40 degrees ahead of our target vehicle, L4 TV or Luna 4 target vehicle. So we're ahead of that, but we're going to go into a higher orbit. We're going to go for about a 300 kilometer orbit is what I'm aiming for. We might have to do some moving around and playing around with it to get that, but we're going to aim for that orbit, and then hopefully it will catch up with us within a day. That's what I'm hoping. What you will see is here, I've only got one craft actually showing, because if I, a little tip for you, if you're trying to do something like this, if you've got a lot of things in orbit, it looks a bit crazy, right? Have whatever the craft is highlighted so it comes up, then find it, target it, and then turn off everything else, and it will still show you that one craft, even though it's of a type that's not supposed to be shown. So that's a nice little piece of advice there for you. So let's get this craft launched anyway. So we have Kreshnova in the pilot seat again. We're going to test all of our stuff. Surface, everything is good. Engines to max, and I think we're ready to go. Now hopefully, here we go, we don't have any problems with this rocket because it is its first launch. My major concern is, well, actually not my major concern is, my hope is that we will actually find that that target actually gets closer to us, because I'm just turning over there, because we're actually launching, we're actually going to be hanging in space, and it's going to hopefully close up on us. So that's my hope. Anyway, I hate the way the sound cuts out between the map view and the non-map view. It's very annoying. Right, and there we go. We've almost finished our solids because they burn off reasonably quickly. There we go, get rid of them. Right, Kreshnova, this hopefully will be a good launch for you. I'm hoping it's going to be a good launch. I wouldn't normally show you all the rocket launches. I'm going to try and stop showing you all of the rocket launches, but this is our first attempt with this rocket. It is a bigger beast. It is, you know, almost twice, in fact, yeah, it is twice the size of what we've been launching, because the Javelin 3, I think, went up to probably about 75, 80 tons, even with all those solids on. That's about as far as it ever got. So we're going to try and loft this. We want to go over 200 kilometers with our loft. So I'm not turning over as quickly as, well, actually I've turned over very quickly because I forgot about the thrust change, but we can actually let it sort of take its time getting to orbit. We have a lot of delta V in this upper stage. The upper stage is a bit weird actually, because it has it doesn't have gimbal. It has sort of selective thrusting, shall we say. It actually has little sort of side vernier thrusters, but they're not really treated in the game like others, so they don't actually gimbal as such. They just basically are like RCS, so I think you have to turn them on with RCS, which has actually meant that this covering for them has actually had to be changed from what I was originally going to do, compared to our previous craft where we actually covered most of the engine, just had the bell sticking out. So you'll see that when we actually separate anyway. So we're coming towards the end of this. Ooh, don't try and move the camera when it's doing a jinky pause. Right, I'm wondering whether we want to decouple this first. No, we'll leave that on. I want to get on the way first. Right, just keeping an eye on our relative inclination. Now we don't have RCS as such on this top stage, so it's going to have to do as well as it can, and we're going to have to hope that our little probe on top can do the rest for us once we're in orbit, and I'm hoping we have the right balance of RCS and things on that. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So we're going to take this to 25. I'm going to hold it at 25 degrees, let it gain a little bit. We're going to run out of fuel very soon, I think, on this stage. We're going to arm our RCS. So we're ready. Come on. Liquid fuel's about to go. There we go. Right, it is firing. Now, is the RCS firing? Is it holding it in position? That's an easy way to test this. There you go. You can actually see these little jets here are actually RCS. If I turn that off, I think they actually stop. We can get rid of our fairing. There we go. Oh, look at that lovely red there. That's yeah, that's interesting. Not sure that's the best choice, but nice sizing of these. They almost match perfectly, and I wish you could actually size the inner ring of this, but you cannot. So yeah, that's as it is. Right, now I don't mind gaining altitude on this apoapsis, because I've got 5-minute burn, so I can just let this ride up, and then I can basically go to 0. And I think that's the better way to do it. These engines are pretty nice, actually. I can't remember who modelled them, but they are really nice models. I don't think they're perfectly accurate, but they're just really nice sort of Kerbal type versions of the engines. I don't think you need too much detail in an engine, but it is nice to just see some of the little intricacies of it. Of course, the problem is when an engine is actually mounted in a craft, where you have like attachment points and stuff that you might not have in the game, and so you get these odd situations. So yeah, I think it's been really done well. This is interesting. I think I've overdone this. We could have actually recessed this into there and just had a single decouple and but we have not done that. I may have to think about that in future. I have turned the decoupler off on this, but it does take up a lot of space still. Alright, we're going to take this down to 0. You see the RCS there firing nicely, even though it's not really RCS. It's basically, I think it's off gas from these engines. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to Google it and read up on it, but I do believe it's like turbo pump sort of off fuel, as it were, that's just not being used. Alright, now we have to be aware that we've got 3 minutes of burn and we need this to start coming down. So what we're actually going to do, which may seem a bit odd, I'm going to put my pitch down, and I'm going to put it down until this stops going up. Because at the moment what we're actually doing is burning above. There we go, that's it. That's where, so about 6, so about 5 is perfect. We're basically now going to be burning at the angle of where we're going to be parallel to the planet when we actually go into orbit now. So we're actually almost imagining where we're going to be. So if I kept this craft in this orientation, fast forwarded time, when I get to that point there, this would be on the horizon, and perfectly parallel to it. So that's what we're aiming for. You can see we've got 36 seconds extra on there, and this is going to have to come down, I think. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. It's annoying. I want to give it as much hang time as possible up at that top section, but I need this to come down a little bit. Although no, it is working its way down now. That's okay. So we're not too bad there. That's not terrible. I could, if I wanted to, I could just pop that up a little bit. So that is a possibility. Keeping an eye on the relative inclination. So we're going into orbit. We're going to try and get a nice sort of circular-ish orbit without using our RCS or anything straight away. This stuff here on these engines, I wish they actually had a backwards facing thing. If you actually look, they face slightly backwards, so you could use them, but I don't think it's very efficient or sort of time consuming positive or anything like that, so we'll see. All right, we can see now got 120 into the, we've got, we're probably going to finish probably about 30 seconds early, so we need to be aware of that. So I'm going to actually just bump this down even more now. We're just going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do this right down, and I want to I'm trying to push this time down now because I don't want to end up not being at my peak when I try circularize, because that just brings me to more annoyance. There we go. So that's that. And then I'm actually going to pull it 3 down, 4 down, 5 down. Right, oh, look at that. Almost perfect, almost perfect. So we're going to start losing perfection on that in a minute. So we need to maybe do that. Is that going to be, that's the wrong way, is it? That's the wrong way. Go back the other way. Right, and then I need to put this on 0. Right, and that's going to pull that back. Oh, we're going to be close. Right, keeping an eye on everything. Pop that down, pop that down. We're running out of fuel. Liquid oxygen reserves are running low. I don't understand how, because we've got 1,000 meters per second left in this engine. So we do actually have quite a lot of burn time left in it. And we're going to get ready to cut it out when we get to about 300. And there. Oh, that's not perfect, but it'll do. Right. So now we're going to decouple. And we are away. So 0.04 degrees relative inclination. That's really nice, actually. It could have been better, but it is not bad. About 500 meters per second on this craft. That thing will stay in orbit. Technically, we could actually have we actually completed it? I bet you we've completed the mission without actually meaning to. Let's have a look. First navigation satellite, no. First rendezvous. 2 crafts in orbit. Good. So it has to be something, hopefully, that's been launched before. Okay, that's good. So whoever's fixed that, that's really good. I like that. Maybe it's to do with the relative velocity. I don't know. All right. So let us think. I wonder. I hope you don't have to launch both after accepting that contract, because that would be really annoying. All right. I am going to leave it here for this episode, because I think in the next episode we're going to be going for rendezvous. So from me, until next time, have a great one.